Imagine a world where the future visits us, but no one knows if it's a warning or a lie. Some stories aren't meant to be solved, they're meant to be explored. I heard about John Titor for the first time a couple of years ago and knew I wanted to write a book about him like 5 minutes later. Titor's story starts on an internet forum in the year 2000. A man named John Titor showed up out of nowhere and claimed to be a time traveler. He warned us of future catastrophes, shared diagrams of a time machine, and then vanished. But what if he wasn't a time traveler? What if he just wanted us to believe he was? What would that mean for us? It's easy to see why the internet wanted to know the truth back then, but why has his story stuck with us for over 2 decades now? It's because we all crave answers, and we can't resist a mystery box. That's why I had to write this story. I first heard about this legend when a production company called Versus approached my creative and business partner Neve about adapting IP for a docuseries based on his legend. It was one of those moments where you realize that the truth isn't just stranger than fiction, it's the foundation of it. Time travel, conspiracies, unanswered questions. It had everything I love in a story, and I couldn't resist. Lots of my books have conspiracies and unanswered questions. Whitespace, the serial that runs each Saturday on this channel, is one example. But I'd never fucked with time travel before. Versus had a cool concept based on a docuseries that they wanted to make, but ultimately decided a fictional take on it would be better. But the real story didn't have the twists and turns to make it compelling for TV. So Neve and I decided to do what storytellers do best: blur the lines between fact and fiction. We took the kernels of his story, the warnings, the time machine, the heist at the IBM factory back in 1975, and asked, what if they were true? And what if they weren't? We imagined a world where everything Titor claimed could be true. And that's how I Am John Titor was born. A time travel story that's part mystery box and part sci-fi epic. All about belief, technology, and the lengths we'll go to prove we're right or protect a lie. I've always wanted to write about time travel, but I was intimidated. It's one of those storytelling challenges where one mistake can unravel everything. I wouldn't even pitch an idea to Johnny, my science-loving collaborator, because I knew we'd end up with something like Primer. Technically brilliant, but so complex it's almost inaccessible. I'd seen so many time travel stories get lost in their own complexity, and I didn't want to risk that. By the way, I will have a video countdown to my favorite time travel movies coming up later this month. After our meeting with Versus, Neve was just as excited to write about time travel as I was. She wrote the most sophisticated outline I've ever worked from, and it turned what could have been a paradox nightmare into a paint-by-numbers experience. Because we always imagined this story as a limited TV series, we designed each episode to feel like its own genre and decade. Picture jumping through time from 70s nostalgia to gritty 2030s dystopia, all while unraveling a mystery. It's the kind of story that's fun to write and hopefully even more fun to read. If Primer is the smartest time travel movie ever made, then Back to the Future is the most fun you can have with time travel. For I Am John Titor, we wanted to borrow a bit of both. There's even a nod to the flux capacitor that I'll tell you more about later. This story about John Titor isn't just about time travel, it's about belief. It's about the stories we tell ourselves to make sense of the world, and what happens when those stories fall apart. I Am John Titor launches on January 15th, and I cannot wait to share it with you. Stick around. Later this month, I'll release inspiration behind the story and everything that went into writing this book, with some unexpected surprises along the way. For now, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to grab your free copy of Americana by clicking on the link in the description below. It's a thriller that takes place in the future that feels uncomfortably close from now. You won't want to put it down. See you tomorrow.